Good morning, Danny Clark. How you doing?
Very well, thanks. How are you, Francis?
I have never been better. I'm so excited to speak with you. We don't actually get on calls very often, but when we do, the conversation tends to go deep, and I'm just excited to share the stage with you, Danny, at the SaaSpreneur Live event in London. How does that feel?
It feels very cool. I was only talking to my wife about it this morning. Um, it's um, it's really nice to finally get that level of like validation from high level, like hello, like we're all doing some pretty decent stuff here in the UK. We've got some very good business owners, some very good marketers. We've got some people, some truly genuinely successful SaaS businesses and agency business owners. About damn time they kind of get over here, really. So that's great. And it's always great to have like a collection of like-minded people in a room. The value comes from on the stage, of course, but it's those casual conversations in between people speaking, right? It's grabbing a beer after the event. It's, going for a burger at 11 p.m. at night after 4 or 5 pints or whatever. And there's new relationships, new partnerships that come out of the back of this. So yeah, it's going to be a really fun event, and any excuse to get some cool people together in a room is great.
Yeah, you're right. It is going to be fun. I can tell you because I went to a high level mastermind in Dallas as well. And I'm not talking about the big summit that they do every year, which is an awesome party, but the actual masterminds that they do, which have now become kind of branded as SaaSpreneur Live. They used to
Hmm.
be kind of SaaS masterminds. They're really different kind of experiences because they're more about working on your business,
Hmm.
right? You have tables, you have entrepreneurs, business owners, marketing people right next to you. And yeah, you do listen to great stories from the speakers, ideas, tactics, strategies, but you're there to actually come away with some ideas and a to-do list of things you can put in place in your business that are going to help you go to the next level. So that's
Yeah.
why I think like for me, I came as just an ambitious high level user a few years ago, and it's also great experience to get away from England, where I'm based, obviously, despite my accent. For those who don't know, I'm fully Brit and been operating here for many decades.
He's wearing his Union Jack pants underneath.
Exactly, exactly. Dual citizen. But yeah, so this is an event like no other in terms of what you're going to learn. And it is cool to like share the stage with some great speakers like yourself. And what struck me is that every speaker is very, very different, is going to have a different topic. It's not a very sales, it's nobody's selling anything, right? And I don't know about you, but I was asked to kind of share my experience. So my particular topic is how I got started with high level, how we got our first clients, how we got our first 10 clients, how we scaled that up to build a seven-figure business. And I'm going to be dispelling some myths, whether people who want to hear them or not, about, what I found working. And do you want to share a little bit about what you're going to talk about on the day?
Yeah, so we're basically going to show people how to go all the way through to 1,000 user SaaS.
Hmm.
And the three major stages, it's getting the first 10, it's growing to 100, it's scaling to 1,000. And just basically give the blueprint of how to do that. And, is there anything in there which is going to be brand new, different to what people have heard before? Probably not for a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of smart people. But very often going to these types of events, it isn't about learning something new per se, but it's very, very quickly figuring out what not to do. And that's kind of the key to success
Hmm.
because you only get it right once, but get it wrong hundreds of times. And if you can remove getting it unnecessarily wrong by trying different things, that's what collapses time. That's what makes things happen quicker. And
Yeah.
that's really the benefit of learning in education. It's not learning how to do it the right way, it's avoiding how to do it the wrong way. And if you can avoid that, there is a very unique opportunity with the high level platform, whether you're using this to build a SaaS or an agency.
Hmm.
They always say like timing's everything. Well, like now is the perfect time to jump ahead because you spoke about this last year when we hosted an event about high level becoming more of a commodity, right? And it's how we differentiate through ourselves, through our personality, or through our like offer stack within that. And there still isn't enough people that have jumped onto that to take advantage. Like this is wide open for somebody just to come in and go, right, I'm going to be top dog. I'm going to make this better than everybody else. And the only way you can do that is by being quicker than everybody else. You know,
Mhm.
that's how you beat your competition. It's speed. Speed happens because you work quickly, but also because you are either lucky enough to not make as many mistakes or you've figured out through knowledge shared by others how to avoid making those mistakes. So that's why it's so important to be in rooms like this. I mean, I see someone not too long ago questioning like the price, which I understand, right? You know, there's a bit of a challenge at the moment for plenty of people, you know, and you know, but the price is there for a reason, right? Because when you pay to be in that room, well, you're going to be saving yourself 3, 4, 5, 6 months, 12 months of mistakes. Well, how much money does that actually put into your back pocket? It puts in a heck of a lot of money into your back pocket. So, you know, it's one of those where I would be using this event as an opportunity to make not just a little shift forward, like use this as a way to have a gigantic leap forward. You know, you're jumping into 2026 already, really, by coming to an event like this with the knowledge, and especially the speakers. I mean, I know for ourselves, I know from your speech, you know, Polly, people will just tell you what to do and how to do it. You know, there won't be second guessing, there won't be like a conflict of information. It will just make sense and you will just know what to do, which there's not enough money in the world right, to kind of get that sort of stuff, you know, that access of information these days. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think, on that point about the price, I think, there's also like a difference, and I'm going to talk about that in my talk, because I think it's worth noting the nuances of running a business in the UK, a marketing agency with small businesses in the UK. We're a tiny little island, right, compared to the US market. And we also need to there's going to be some differences in the way we sell, in the market cap of each niche in terms of what's possible and and the different value people put on services, depending on where you are located in the world. We need to really talk about that too. Um, and so it's this, with the price of the ticket, you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people are not used to kind of these really high-end high value masterminds where you get in there and it's not just a sales pitch all the way through, because that's what happens when you do pay £97 for a 2 a day or 3 day event. You're actually going there and being pitched to for 3 days. And
Mm-hmm.
you're not real, you're being upsold a higher ticket course, really. And so there's no upsells in this. And that's really what it is about. It's actually about taking those 2 days off to invest in your business. So I've been to a mastermind event as well. I can vouch for the quality, and I don't go necessarily to a lot of these kind of things, but and I'm confident that when High Level puts it on as well, the caliber of people on the room, I'm gonna be Ryan Dice, for God's sake, who's been doing this yonks and decades, is probably you're gonna be in the room and having a sandwich and be able to tap this guy on the shoulder as well as Danny. And obviously, I'm happy to chat to anyone who wants. That's the thing about a networking event like this. So, yeah, it's coming up soon, and we're all going to be getting down there, just having a load of fun. And really excited to meet the high level team and the founders and Sean and Paulson and Robin. And that's really cool because these guys have scaled their business. Like, I was using high level back in 2018, like when nobody knew about it. And we were like, speaking of timing, the first early adopters came on at a great time where you had this amazing secret weapon toolkit where you could, at a fraction of the cost, do amazing things for your clients, and no one knew how. So now those times have changed, right? So we also have to change our strategies. Like, in my opinion, you cannot scale to 100, 200, 1,000. Maybe you can elaborate on that in the same way one might have done with high level 5 years ago, right? So, but it doesn't mean it's impossible, and there's ways to do it. But this is why this is really important. So, yeah, high level is growing. I was speaking to someone at high level, someone who knows, and apparently they've surpassed HubSpot in terms of size of the
Mhm.
business. And can you imagine like coming in from nowhere with this software tool, and now they're like, I think someone said 1,800 people around the world, bigger than HubSpot. Come on. Well, times have changed, but it's exciting to be a part of this and kind of watching it and being part of such a great community.
I think the reason why high level and high level might shoot me for saying this, but I'm just going to say it as I see it. I think the reason why they don't perhaps get the kudos that they should get, because I think a lot of people would still maybe consider HubSpot professionals not the right word, but maybe a little bit more serious, maybe more mature. I don't know what the right word is, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of people that have jumped onto high level who are marketers, who are your low end coaches, affiliate marketers, network marketer types who aren't your serious agency types. And I think sometimes there's a little bit of snobbery. And for
Yeah.
me, that's why there's such an opportunity.
Hmm.
Because if you can humble yourself and just remove that little bit of snobbery, if you're a big player, like there's some serious things that you can do with this platform. Or if you go all the way over to the other part of the sliding scale and you're a nobody that's done nothing ever and you're just curious to figure it out, well, this is wide open for you to step into this and you can build a significant business asset and income. From never having done anything like this before because it's all laid out. Everything you ever need to know is available to access. The hundreds and thousands of different ways that you could set up your business for success, it's all there for you. It's just about picking our way. You pick the way that works for you. You pick the niche, you pick the price, you pick the industry or the result reward niche or the feature niche that you're going to use from GHL, and you just put in tons of effort and that gets you going. And once you start to get traction and having made mistakes, because you've got to go in making mistakes, you've got to fail forward, well, then it opens up the opportunity for you to fine tune, smooth out the process. That's how we start to grow. And when you grow, you're not growing for yourself. You're really growing to be able to put in place system and team because that's what starts to create freedom for people because that's what people are looking for, right? People, if you're either an agency owner that jumps over to high level or you're somebody that's never done anything like this before and you start using it and you see the opportunity, people come into this for freedom, right? It's independent, it's self-employed, it's working for yourself. Even if you've got different company structures, right? So you're limited, whatever. Right? It's all to create a better life for yourself. Work the hours you want, when you want, with who you want, all that sort of stuff that we've all bought into over many years. By growing your business that allows you to do that, that's then what gives you the opportunity to transform your life. You know, I don't think people realize how much money people make, reselling high level or being a high level affiliate or selling a feature of the high level platform. And I think sometimes people just think, well, there's a little bit of money here. There are people making millions of pounds a month. That's insane. Now, I'm not financially driven in any way. I can't give a shit. Like, I'm a simple guy. Give me a hoodie and a cap and a pair of shorts, and I'm happy, right? And a football. Any opportunity to play football, coach football, I'm happy. And money ain't everything, but I tell you what, it does provide. It provides opportunity. So having the ability to earn whatever is required to provide you with the lifestyle that you desire, there's not many vehicles that you can do that with, in this day and age. And then you tie in the whole AI component to that as well, and how this is, it's not like AI is just kind of slightly outgrowing. Like there's two different worlds, running at the same time, trying to find a way to coexist. And if I had the opportunity to be there at the right time for the .com boom or for the housing boom or for the internet boom, I'd be there, both feet, jumped in, getting my hands dirty because you know what happens in 10, 15 years time. So there is a world of opportunity for people to create whatever it is that they want to create for themselves, their family, their loved ones, their local communities. And that's pretty cool. That's well worth going into a room for a couple of days to figure that shit out.
Mhm.
Because why wouldn't you want to do that for yourself and for your family? And that for me, we the word fun has been used a lot during this. That for me is the fun bit, knowing that you can actually transform not only your life, but you can also transform a lot of people's life. Um, and that gives me nice warm feelings in my tum tum.
That's awesome. Like, thanks for sharing. And by the way, we are not paid by High Level.
No, we should be high level. Get
High
us
Level.
paid for this.
Yeah, where's our where's our
Jesus
commitment?
Christ, throw some merch or something.
So it's an interesting. Well, I just love the community. Look, High Level. It's not the only tool you can use.
Mm,
However, it's the tool that has provided me uh, a route to add value to the market. And that's a tool that made sense to me and that I chose. I could have done a million things. I love the community, the people, the tool set made sense, especially if you like to get your hands dirty and you geek out with these kind of things. So for me, it's just kind of also giving back. I wouldn't have the business that I do without High Level in in the support of the last communities. I probably have a different business, not to say, but this is the route that has been available and that I chose, right? So it's just great to kind of celebrate that as well, with people who are also in this space. So yeah, we just wanted to put this little mini podcast together. So for anyone who's thinking about, coming on in London, we'll be there. It's 2 days on the 11th. Sorry, no, 12th and 13th of June. I know there are some cool parties or after parties and going on. So plan
do
to.
you know what? Do you know what's also happening on June the 12th, the day that I speak?
What's that? What's
It's
that?
my birthday.
That's awesome. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
so even on my birthday, I'm coming in to share with you guys.
Yeah, and
So,
you're coming from holiday, right? You're actually. Were you
well,
on holiday and you're just like taking a plane or did you cancel everything?
no, we haven't cancelled it. Potentially, we're going to move back a couple of days. We're trying to figure it out still because we've got a villa booked, and I'm either coming back for the event or the holidays pushed back, which means I just join a day late. We'll figure it out. But
Good for you.
basically, this is messing up my holiday plans and it's messing up my birthday. Buy a bloody ticket for God's sake, and wish me happy
Sounds good.
birthday when you see me.
Okay, Danny, thanks for joining me today, and have a great day. I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks at SaaSpreneur Live.